Finally, it's a beautiful day across central and eastern Kentucky, but it's one and done. Rain is back into your Friday forecast.
Part of a highway now honors a Richmond police officer gunned down in the line of duty. We're live in Madison County with the tribute.
This is WKYT News at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Jennifer Palumbo. We are finally getting a break from the rain. Here's a live look at downtown Lexington, where it is a beautiful and sunny afternoon. Enjoy it while you can, because rain is returning just in time for the weekend. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has a first look at the forecast. Chris?
Yeah, coming in tomorrow and into the first half of the weekend, but let's talk about the positive for a change. This is the only really great weather day we've had for the past week and change, and really one of the very few for the month of May. Live look on the east side of Lexington. Nothing but some sun and some clouds out there. We'll take it, even though temperatures are into the upper 60s, flirting with 70 degrees. Winds have been gusty from time to time, gusts around 20-25 miles per hour. It's warmer in Covington than it is in London. 71 Covington, 68 into London. Moral of the story, if you've got a mix of sun and clouds right now, you're into the upper 60s. More in the way of some full sun, you're touching 70, if not into the low 70s. That little band of some clouds right on top of central Kentucky as of now. And as soon as the sun gets low on the horizon, you know what's going to happen to your skyline? It's going to begin to dry up with high pressure on top of the Great Lakes. Low pressure, though, into the Lone Star State of Texas is working its way toward the east and northeast and quickly arrives into the Bluegrass State as we go into our Friday with an increase in showers and thunderstorms. The hour-by-hour forecast will time the rains into where you live. Jennifer, when I come back in about 15 minutes.
Now at 4, a permanent tribute to a Richmond police officer who made the ultimate sacrifice. A ceremony started about an hour ago in Madison County to unveil a sign designating part of US 25 as the Officer Daniel Ellis Memorial Highway. Ellis was shot and killed in the line of duty in November. Garrett Weimer is live in Madison County with our top story at 4. Garrett?
City and state officials and other law enforcement officers joined Officer Ellis's family out here today for a ceremony that just wrapped up in the last half hour. They unveiled a sign designating a portion of 25 the Officer Daniel Ellis Memorial Highway. Officer Ellis's wife, Katie, spoke for the family, sharing a story about how the road, now named in her husband's honor, played a central role in their day-to-day lives, taking it every day to work, driving it on the way to his last call.
We traveled this road every day. He traveled it to and from work. You know, we left our rehearsal dinner. We drove up the road to the restaurant. We came down the road and got married. We left again to our house. You know, it's where we traveled that last day together before we took him home to be buried. It's a road I travel every day to go to work. So it'll be really special to see that sign.
Katie says it'll also be a good way for their young son, Luke, to remember his father's sacrifice as the years pass and as he grows up. Live in Richmond, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Daniel Ellis was one of 6 fallen officers from Kentucky who had their names added to the National Police Memorial in Washington, D.C. last weekend. 2 people charged in connection with Daniel Ellis's murder returned to court this morning. Carl Banks and Rita Creech are charged with attempted robbery. The judge set a pretrial conference for June 23rd, which is when the suspects could enter into a plea agreement or the judge could set a trial date. Creech was out of jail on bond but was rearrested after failing a drug test. She'll be released again on her previously posted bond. Police have arrested 2 Magoffin County school employees accused of letting teenagers get drunk at a party. State police say they received a tip about a party at Wendell King's home in Salyersville. When troopers got there, they say they found King passed out and naked, and 5 teenagers who tested positive for alcohol. 2 had to be taken to the hospital. Durrell Peters was also in the home. He's listed as a teacher at Magoffin County Career and Tech Center. King, Peters, and Leah Van Hoos all face charges of unlawful transaction with a minor. You'll hear from the Magoffin County School Superintendent on WKYT News at 5. The case against a daughter accused of killing her parents is headed to a grand jury. State police say Lynette McQuinn shot and killed Robert and Ada McQuinn at their Owsley County home nearly 2 weeks ago. During a hearing this morning, state police told a judge McQuinn threatened her parents 2 weeks earlier, and they have evidence linking her to the crime. Friends say those who knew the couple are shaken up.
You know, he was just, like I said, really outspoken, really friendly, really good guy. And I know it just has to really hurt, especially the people around him.
McQuinn is in jail on a $1 million bond. The judge refused to lower it because the Commonwealth's attorney believes McQuinn will run if she's released. Our reporters are working on a number of other stories for WKYT starting at 4:30. Sam Dick joins us from the newsroom with a look at some of the news in progress. Good afternoon, Sam.
Good afternoon, Jennifer. A federal jury found a man guilty of selling drugs to a Lexington woman who died of an overdose. The jury convicted Christopher Allen of drug charges, including selling heroin and fentanyl. Allen will be sentenced on August 22nd. He faces anywhere from 20 years to life in prison. We'll have more details on WKYT News coming up at 4:30. A Clark County man accused of causing a deadly apartment fire was back in court. A grand jury indicted Jackie Heisel Jr. on 3 counts of second-degree manslaughter. After the fire in March, he told us he had been drinking and smoking in his apartment when his oxygen tank caught fire. 3 people died in the huge fire, including Heisel's son. A rescue boat carrying a deceased Raven Run hiker was over capacity when it turned over in the Kentucky River. State Fish and Wildlife officials say that 7 people are in that boat, over the manufacturer's 6 people or 800 pounds. The boat was sitting too low in the water when a second rescue boat passed it, the weight creating too much water for it to handle. We'll have more details from the report ahead on WKYT News at 5. That's a look at some of the news in progress. Jennifer, back to you.
Thank you, Sam. One of the top recruits for next season has finally announced his college choice. Marquise Bolden will not be a Kentucky Wildcat. This afternoon, the 5-star center from Texas picked Duke over UK and TCU. John Calipari still has 5 other 5-star players joining the team. 2 national sites have Kentucky with the top recruiting class of 2016. Now to stories making headlines around the world at 4. The search continues for Egypt Air Flight 804. It was flying from Paris to Cairo, Egypt, when it disappeared over the Mediterranean Sea with 66 people on board. U.S. and Egyptian officials have both said terrorism is a likely cause. Diane Gallagher has the latest.
If you analyze this situation properly, the possibility of having a different action aboard, of having a terror attack, is higher than having a technical problem.
Chilling words echoing around the globe. Investigators searching for answers in the disappearance of Egypt Air Flight 804, which vanished from radar shortly after entering Egyptian airspace Thursday morning.
We confirmed that the wreckage has been found, and the search and rescue teams are now it's turning into a search and recovery.
Now, although there were no United States citizens among the 66 people on board,
the U.S. military has reached out to counterparts in Greece and Egypt to offer our support.
A Navy aircraft has joined the search, and U.S. intelligence is talking with its French and Egyptian counterparts. So far, they haven't found any passengers with names that are on terror watch lists. Now, Flight 804 left Paris just after 11 p.m. Wednesday local time, headed for Cairo, and everything appeared normal until Greek officials say they lost contact with the cockpit just before the plane appeared to plummet thousands of feet and then disappear.
It's too early to definitively say what may have caused this disaster.
But U.S. government officials tell CNN the working theory is that this was an act of terror, and the initial suspicion is that a bomb brought down the plane. French officials say the plane passed a security sweep before taking off from Paris. Egypt Air maintains they have good security.
We are part of an international organization, and we abide by international security laws.
In Washington, Diane Gallagher.
A legendary newsman is being remembered. CBS News says veteran 60 Minutes correspondent Morley Safer has died 1 week after announcing his retirement. Safer was 84. No other information on his death has been released. Safer did 919 stories in his 46 years on 60 Minutes, beginning in 1970. We'll look back at his life and career on WKYT News at 4:30. If you have Time Warner Cable, listen up. The company is about to be bought. That tops today's WKYT Money Watch. Charter Communications has agreed to buy the company last year, but the deal was just cleared by antitrust regulators. Charter says its Spectrum brand will replace the Time Warner Cable brand over the next year and a half. The name Time Warner will be phased out and will eventually be known as Charter Communications. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg and conservatives say they had a frank and constructive meeting. Zuckerberg wanted to build trust with Republicans after allegations surfaced that Facebook censors conservative topics on its trending section. Zuckerberg denies that ever happened. Uber is rolling out a new feature that lets you track your family members' car rides in real time. Trip Tracker connects to people riding under your family profile, letting you know when they've left, their route, and when they've arrived. LinkedIn says that hackers are trying to sell email addresses and passwords of more than 100 million users. The New York Times says LinkedIn's announcement could mean that a massive 2012 data breach was larger than first thought. Citing the tech website Motherboard, the Times reports that a hacker is asking for $2,200 for the data. About 26% of America's fruit and vegetables never make it off the farm because of their physical appearance. That's billions of pounds of produce that's thrown away. Danielle Nottingham looks at how some would like to keep that produce from going to waste.
Christine Koch says up to half of her crops go to waste because of how they look.
This looks like a typical strawberry to me. Yes, but it's very small.
Small and oddly shaped strawberries are some of the natural imperfections that lead to 6 billion pounds of wasted produce in the U.S., even though it's safe to eat. Grocery stores want prettier produce.
It's really hard sometimes because you're like, can't you just, accept that small little flaw?
Now there's a push to get twisty carrots and conjoined cherries into stores at a reduced price to both cut waste and feed the hungry.
I just thought it's insane that all this good produce is going to waste for mostly cosmetic reasons, which is just looks, not taste or nutrition or anything like that.
Activist Jordan Figueredo started a social media campaign to celebrate ugly fruit and veggies. His online petition to have Walmart sell the produce has almost 100,000 signatures.
Like it's socially unacceptable to litter, make it socially unacceptable to just keep throwing so much food in the garbage.
Figueredo convinced Whole Foods to sell imperfect produce for 30 to 50% less at its Northern California stores. And in Pennsylvania, supermarket chain Giant Eagle rolled out a similar program. But for ugly produce to be the norm, farmers say consumers have to be willing to compromise.
This is really about changing attitudes about how we see food. Absolutely.
And buy into something not so perfect. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, San Juan Bautista, California.
Walmart says it has a pilot program to sell produce with imperfections in its United Kingdom stores and is looking at how it can transfer that model to its United States locations. It's time for Better Living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. Taking aspirin immediately after a mini stroke can cut the risk of a major stroke. That's the message from European researchers who found aspirin was most beneficial in the first few weeks after a mini stroke. They also found aspirin reduced the severity of major strokes. New research from England suggests ADHD does not appear for some people until adulthood. In one study, 70% of young adults with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder did not meet the criteria for the disorder during childhood assessments. For the third year in a row, Washington, D.C. wins as fittest city in the United States. That's according to the American College of Sports Medicine and Anthem Foundation. Washington's low rate of smoking and high number of walkers pushed it to the top once again. It's followed closely by the Minneapolis-St. Paul area and Denver. Now let's head over to Chris, and it is the perfect day to get outside and exercise.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, temperatures today cooler than normal, but certainly above where we have been in recent days and recent weeks. A look outside, we're seeing the sun today for the first time, and temperatures are pretty much uniform. It's 68 in Frankfurt, in Lexington, in Jackson, and in London in all four locations with a partly to mostly sunny sky. Notice a little more cloud cover showing up, though, on the Frankfurt and Lexington cams compared to what folks into London are seeing. But overall, that is a good-looking afternoon that is now transitioning into a good-looking evening as well.
So will tomorrow be all a washout?
Tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, we're going to get rain into most of central and eastern Kentucky. Or if you're going to wake up and it's probably not going to be raining where you are, but keep the umbrellas handy throughout the rest of the day.
So after all our newscasts are over, then go outside and enjoy
Go
it.
out and enjoy. There you go.
We're glad you're with us on WKYT. Sam, Dick, and Amber Philpott are next at 4:30.